Well, we've been looking at relationships in triangles, and we talked about perpendicular bisectors and circumcenters, and then angle bisectors and incenters. And then in this chapter sections, we've talked about the median as well as the centroid. And now we're going to take a look at altitude and corresponding with that, the orthocenter. Now, what is an altitude? An altitude of a triangle is a segment or a line from the vertex to the line on the opposite side that is perpendicular to that line. And an altitude can lie in the interior or the exterior or on the side of a triangle. So, similar to the median, we're starting at the vertex, but rather than drawing a segment from the vertex to the midpoint of the line opposite, that would be a median. An altitude is from the vertex to the opposite side at a point that is perpendicular to the vertex. And again, we got, there'd be three altitudes for any triangle. And where those altitudes intersect, that is called the orthocenter. Okay. Now, if you look at example 4 on your book, page 338, they go through and where you would manually find a line perpendicular, which again can be inside the triangle or outside of the triangle. And where those three altitudes meet, then you take that and you'd find the slope of each of those perpendicular lines, and then by solving through a system of equation, you can determine where those altitudes intersect and determine the orthocenter. And we may do one or two of those in class, but we're going to do it here in GeoGebra. One, because I just like to. And second, don't have to do the system of equations. So I'm going to do a point. I'm going to start by putting in points. And on that example that you see there in the guided practice, I went ahead and determined what the coordinates were for this triangle ABC. And so point A equals, and you can follow along there in the book, 4, 0. And point B equals where x is -2 and y is 4. And point C equals where x is 0 and y is 6, or 0, 6. All right, so there's my points. I've got those. Now, in the past, I've always drawn those with segments and connected it. But because the orthocenter might be in the interior or the exterior or actually on the line, I'm going to, rather than using the segment tool, I'm going to use the line tool to connect these points. So I'm going to choose line, and I'm going to connect it through point A and point B, and from point B to point C, and from point C to point A. All right, and let's see. I use that polygon tool just to give us a shading of where our actual original triangle is. All right, that's something else you can do with this tool right here. Now, I want to get perpendicular lines, and so I'm going to choose this tool right here, and I'm going to say a perpendicular line. and I'm going to click it on point A, and I'm going to click it on this line here that's opposite A, and you can see it puts in a perpendicular line, and then I'm going from B, vertex B, to the side opposite, and it puts in a perpendicular line there, and then I'm going to go from point C to this line down here, which is opposite C. And so I'm looking for a point here that these altitudes or these perpendicular lines intersect, and it really is right about there, but I'm going to go back over here to my point tool, and I'm going to choose this point of intersection. And my point of intersection is right here. And I'm going to click on it. And if I look down here at the very bottom, it tells me, scroll down, that the intersection of that point D, this is where these altitudes intersect, so this is the orthocenter, is at the coordinate. Let me go back and where I can just move. That's at the coordinate is right here, and that's at the coordinate of negative 0.8, or 8, that's negative 8/10 or negative 4/5, x equal to negative 0.8 or negative 4/10, and y is equal to 4.8 or 4 8/10 or 4 4/5, and that is my orthocenter. Kind of cool. All right, we'll probably do some going through the laborious process of systems of equations just so we can get a little practice on that. But there we go. And you have to, and we'll do some on graph paper too. Have fun. We're going to be persistent. We're going to practice. We're going to be patient, and we're going to persevere.